It's time for From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine with Trey Schaap. A golf podcast for those who love golf, struggle with golf, and just like to enjoy the outdoors and fellowship with friends, all while chasing a ball around, trying to put it in a 4 1/4 inch diameter hole. From the Shortgrass is presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine, and brought to you by Stevens Incorporated, an independent financial services firm with the freedom to focus on what matters most. By Beechwood Hospitality, we partner with you to deliver high-yield results by managing, developing, and investing in top-quality hospitality assets. And now, from the Shortgrass, here's your host, Trey Schaap.
Welcome to another edition of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. I am your host, Trey Schaap. The Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens, year number 2, coming to Pleasant Valley Country Club in Little Rock, October 20th through the 26th. The Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens, will play host to the top 54 players on the PGA Tour Champions playoff schedule. It is the second stop. The top 36 after the Simmons Bank Championship will move on to the Charles Schwab Cup Championship. And if you missed your chance last year being part of the inaugural championship, you definitely don't want to miss your chance this year. Last year, the Simmons Bank Championship was only the second ever first-year event to earn the Players Award. The Players Award recognizes a tournament that, quote, goes above and beyond in the experience they provide the PGA Tour Champions players. I think that's something that the Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens, certainly did last year. This year, they have a new tournament director, Michael Cataldo. He's going to join us on this episode of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. He's coming up after the break. Right now, the Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens, needs volunteers. You can sign up. Go to their website, simmonsbankchampionship.com. There are several different types of volunteers that you can sign up to be on. There are several different committees, several different duties that you will do. Obviously, spectator services, scoring services, operations, gallery management. Yes, they are going to need some gallery management because there were a lot of people out at Pleasant Valley last year. Player services, you can assist with the players. Hey, you might get up and close with the players if you decide to volunteer in the player services area of the Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens. Go to their website, simmonsbankchampionship.com. There's a place there where you can click on the volunteer link. If you're just wanting to go out and have fun, well, hospitality, it is selling fast. The hospitality around the 18th green is all sold out, but there are other options as well around the 17th and 16th green. Tickets will be going on sale soon, and we'll make sure and let you know right here on From the Shortgrass when they do go on sale. Those general admission tickets, if you will. Michael's going to have so much more coming up in a matter of minutes. You will want to be a part of the Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens, in year 2, I guarantee it. Remember, Ortho Now is now open at UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. For more information, call 501-686-TOSH. That's 501-686-8674. I'm back with Michael Cataldo after this. Stay with us.
At Stevens, our philosophy is to invest every dollar as if it were our own, to seize opportunity, to anticipate rather than react, to deliver constant focus in an ever-changing world, and to pursue the objectives of our clients in order to help them reach their financial goals. A proven history of helping companies and individuals. Stevens, member NYSE SIPC.
The next time you travel to El Dorado and need overnight accommodations, the Haywood Hotel is where you need to stay. The Haywood El Dorado Tapestry Collection by Hilton is a great place to stay if you're in South Arkansas, listening to live music or playing the challenging Mystic Creek Golf Club. Take time and relax in their bar for a drink before going out on the town for dinner. The Haywood, 210 South Washington, right in the heart of downtown El Dorado. Search the Haywood El Dorado on the web or call 800-293-0718 for reservations. The Haywood, a Beechwood hospitality property.
I'm Dr. Lowry Barnes. When it comes to orthopedic care, there's no place like the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health. We built this hospital just for you. With state-of-the-art surgical suites, advanced technology, and the state's largest group of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, it's the best place in Arkansas to get you moving again. And if you need urgent orthopedic care, UAMS Ortho Now is right here for you at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health, where motion lives and service leads.
Welcome back to this edition of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. I am your host, Trey Schaap. Beechwood Hospitality, Matthew Allen and Blair Allen. They know how to manage hotel properties. If you're coming in for the Simmons Bank Championship in October and you want a great place to stay, make sure it's a Beechwood Hospitality hotel. Michael Cataldo is the new tournament director of the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens, and he sat down with me a couple of weeks ago to give us an update on this year's championship. It's coming to Pleasant Valley Country Club October 20th through the 26th, so a full week of activities. He's going to let us know a little bit more about it and what might be new for this year. On the tee, Michael Cataldo.
Michael, thanks for joining me on this edition of From the Shortgrass. Tournament director of the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens, coming to Pleasant Valley Country Club for year number 2 in October, the end of October. Welcome to Little Rock, and how's the transition been for you so far?
Well, thank you, Trey, for having me. And the transition to Little Rock has been fantastic. So we got here back in January, and the community's really welcomed us with open arms. It's been great, and really a place that we call home now.
When did you first pick up a golf club?
I picked up a golf club for the first time that I can remember the night of my kindergarten graduation. So my grandfather surprised me with a set of golf clubs back then, and I was instantly hooked. I played baseball for a little while growing up as a kid, and I happened to be on the Bad News Bears every year. So about 3rd or 4th grade, I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and I think that was the best time I ever came to my parents, and they didn't have to sit at a ballpark anymore. And then, golf really became my love in the summers.
Yeah, obviously, growing up in Des Moines, Iowa, is that correct?
That's correct.
Corn country.
Corn country, corn and soybeans.
Yeah, man. Played some hockey, though, as well, I understand?
I did, yeah. I was an aspiring hockey player, wasn't necessarily built for speed, but in the summer months, golf was my game. And I went and I played high school golf for a couple of years, and then the golf coach came and said, listen, you got to choose between hockey and golf. And
why did he make you choose?
So golf in Iowa was a fall sport.
Okay.
So hockey practice started then, and I thought I was going to make it to the NHL. That certainly wasn't the case. I had 2 more years in me, and I was done.
What about hockey just drew you to it?
My dad, my uncles, everybody played growing up, so that was, they had me on skates at 3 years old, and 29 years later, I don't know that I'm actually a good skater, but I loved it.
Do you still skate from time to time?
No, it's been
a
handful of years. When I was living in Minneapolis working for the 3M Open, I actually went back and I took up coaching. So I coached some kids for 3 or 4 years, but I haven't been on skates in a while.
What position did you play in high school when you did play hockey?
Well, when I actually got into play, I was a forward. I started as a defenseman, and about 2 weeks into that, the coach said, yeah, you're not fast enough to play defense. We're going to put you at forward. So it was mostly left bench, or off chance I played left wing.
Any goals scored during your high school career?
Not many, but there were 3 or 4.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a start, right?
That's right. Hey, I made it on the stat sheet.
Some kids don't even get to score a goal.
Exactly.
I would be happy with that. So the golf coach made you decide, okay, hockey or golf, and you chose golf.
In the grand scheme of things, yes, I chose golf. It was, I played hockey for 2 more years, but I spent my summers working at Glen Oaks Country Club in the bag room there, and after that, I was hooked. I was at the golf course all the time, and growing up in Des Moines, we actually have a PGA Tour Champions event there. Back in the day, it was the Allianz Championship,
Yep.
And that's really where I fell in love with it. So we are close family friends with Fuzzy Zeller, and he would come to town each year and stay at my grandfather's house. So I had it mapped out. Fuzzy's going to be in town at 5 o'clock, and I was there with him the whole week. I used to go and caddy for him during the Pro-Ams. I'd walk around all 18 holes, and he's really what brought my love for golf. And after that, it's funny looking at it how I got into this. So back in the day, Hollis Kavner, our CEO at ProLink Sports, he ran the event in Des Moines, so he would come over for parties and everything like that. And I had met him as a 9-10-year-old kid, and then fast forward to when I was in college, I run into Hollis at the 3M Open or 3M Championship, and we started talking. He's like, man, you should come and do an internship for us. And at this point, I didn't know that this was a career that you could have. I saw the guys run around setting it up, and I didn't think anything of it as a high schooler. And so I went and did an internship with the 3M Championship. And I remember after the second or third day, I called my dad and listen, this is what I want to do. And it's been really history ever since.
So you got an internship in 2017? Is that correct?
2016 or 17.
16, 17?
Yeah.
At the 3M Championship.
Correct.
So big time PGA Tour event. What were you thinking then?
Man, I didn't know. I wanted to show up, work hard, and do a good job. And we were it was a Champions Tour event back then. And, Fuzzy was still playing on tour, Michael Allen, John Jacobs, all those guys that used to come to Des Moines and hang out with us. So I was in heaven. And then being around golf and really seeing what goes into a tournament on the back end, I mean, it was incredible.
Do you think, Michael, when you were inside the ropes with Fuzzy Zoeller, that might have hooked you to, wow, this is really cool?
I think it did. And I think, being around people and meeting people, all my life growing up, I think that really stemmed the interest. I mean, you look at what we do today, we sit down and talk to some pretty cool people every single day. And, you're walking into a building talking golf to people for an hour, and it really is the highlight of their day when they, get out of meetings talking about whatever it may be. We feel that we can be a break in their day and, come talk golf for an hour.
So internship led to what for you? What was your next position with ProLink Sports?
My next position was I started 2 days after college graduation as tournament coordinator. So I ran our pro-ams, merchandising, office management. Really, I was, it was an entry-level job for me, and I was hooked. And, I spent 4.5 years in Minneapolis. And then one day they came and sat down in my office and said, hey, listen, we got an opportunity for you. Would you be interested in hearing? And then from there, I went to Stevens Point, Wisconsin for 2 years to run the 2023 U.S. Senior Open.
Oh, wow. Nice. What was that like?
It was very cool. It was different than anything I had ever seen, being a USGA event versus a PGA Tour or PGA Tour Champions event. Definitely a learning curve, but I think it really helped me in my career, just seeing a complete different side of, how golf operated. And, that's full on championship golf, right? You don't have the branding, the activations, everything like that. You're there to host a major championship, and it's solely focused inside the ropes.
This year, the Broadmoor, the host of the U.S. Senior Open, and what a fantastic facility that is to host.
It's incredible. I have not been out there yet. A good friend of mine who was at the U.S. Senior Open with us in Wisconsin, he spent some time out there, and he raves about it every single day.
I can rave about it. It's great. I love it. I love going out there to play. So if anybody wants to go to the Broadmoor, do it. Stay there. You can play. It's fantastic. Back to how you got to Little Rock and the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens. You've been here since January, early February, if memory serves me correct.
January 3rd, I believe, is the
early
the day
January.
We rolled into town.
Yeah. So how did that call go, and how did you decide? Okay, I want to come to Little Rock.
It was fantastic. So I actually wasn't able to be here for the event in October, but we were playing in a charity event down in Boca Raton, Florida, and we came into the clubhouse afterwards, and they had it on TV. And myself and two guys that I worked with, we were looking at it like, gosh, this is big time. And, started chatting a little bit with the staff up here just about their findings in the first year and, what all went on. And when that call came, said, hey, would you be interested in going to Little Rock? It was a no-brainer for me.
Obviously, there are some things that can be improved on. There are changes from year to year when it comes to putting on a big-time tournament like this, like the PGA Tour Champions is going to have here at the end of October. When you look at the inside, the infrastructure, everything with it, because now you're in charge of all of that, what needs to be changed from last year to this year to make it better. And it's hard to make it better because it was ranked the best event on PGA Tour Champions last year in its first year.
That's right, and that's a huge honor for the tournament. But when you look at, overarching view of the tournament, everything was done very, very well. So now we get into it and start nitpicking, okay, what little tweaks can we make to enhance our fan experience? Whether it's the way that we route people through the main gate, get people into more fan-centric areas on the golf course. And that's all stuff that we have addressed, getting out ahead of that fan experience before there were ever to be any complaints come in, because we looked at our survey results from last year and it's hard to find any negatives, which is a great problem to have, but we want to continuously improve on that each year. So you'll see, structurally everything will be pretty much the same as far as 18, 17, 16, 15 build out, but there'll be smaller tweaks along the way that, make areas more accessible for fans and, really enhance that experience across the board.
Michael, I think one thing that impressed me, and I've been to PGA Tour events, I've been to majors before, but to actually see the build out around Pleasant Valley from when it started in mid-August, late August, until its completion about a week out. I mean, even up until really the first shot was hit, there are changes and adjustments being made, but specifically the Pro-Am days, being out there and seeing the build out, that's when I thought, yep, this is big time.
Yeah, and it's huge. We've received a lot of feedback in the community of people saying, hey, we didn't realize it was going to be this big, right? And being a first year event, I think there were some folks that did sit out, took the wait and see approach, and a lot of them have FOMO of not being here last year because they saw on social media their friends were out here having a great time. So I think there's a great opportunity for us here in 2025 to get those folks out to the golf course and see everything that the PGA Tour Champions has to offer.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. The fear of missing out is it, and it was a social event as well as a golf tournament going on. That's the vibe I got. Is that what you think was going on here?
Absolutely, and that's one thing that we look at is we want to have something for everybody, right? Whether you're a diehard golf fan and want to go walk all 18 holes and can't miss a single shot that Padraig Harrington is hitting, or hey, you're a social butterfly, you want to get out there and see your friends, be seen, or you want to come out with the family and bring your kids and have a good time for everybody, that's areas that we're really looking to grow. So our kids zones, our tailgate activation on Saturday morning, enhancing all of that to increase opportunity for everybody to come and have a good time.
I know that it started off with obviously the events on Monday of championship week where you had a women's clinic and events for the first tee. Tuesday was basically a practice day for the players that came in, and then you had your Pro-Ams on Wednesday and Thursday. Don't forget the Pro-Am party on Tuesday night because that's a big social event as well. And then the first round begins. But before that, what I thought was really, really cool, and Freddie and I talked about it, is having Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, founder of the Folds of Honor, hit the opening tee shot. Folds of Honor Friday on PGA Tour Champions, and I thought that was just fantastic, and had, parachuters come in. Something like that in the works again for this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Folds of Honor Friday is it's a fairly new concept around the PGA Tour, and we were sitting down talking to Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, and he's sitting there saying, guys, why is golf the only sport that doesn't kick off the game with the national anthem? So a bunch of tournaments sat down and said, well, let's do something about this, and that's where Folds of Honor Friday stemmed from. So yes, Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney is planning to join us again this year. We're looking at some ways to enhance that programming, but we gotta give a special shout out to Silverado for really allowing us to put on Folds of Honor Friday with the parachuters and Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. It's really one of my favorite parts of the week is to being able to stop all the chaos and craziness that's going down and honor our flag, before tournament play kicks off.
A flyover would be cool.
Flyover would be cool. It's definitely something that we're exploring. And then, backtracking in the week, you mentioned we'll kick off the week with our Women's Leadership Summit presented by Baptist Health, looking at some ways to change that up and increase the experience there. And then Tuesday, this is you're going to be the first one that hears this publicly, but we are Tuesday evening, we're implementing a new shootout. So it'll be our caddy shootout, similar to what they do at the Pleasant Valley 4-ball, where we'll have caddy teams going out and playing around the lake that evening with music and food, a good time to be had by all. And then our pro-ams on Wednesday and Thursday.
I'm looking forward to that caddy shootout.
It's going to be great. Some of these caddies are plus handicaps. Some of them don't play at all. So, it's really going to be luck of the draw and getting a good team. It'll be true alternate shot. And then we're working on a couple of fun twists for the formatting and, how we may be able to incorporate some of the pros. And, I think it's going to be a really, really good event.
So is it a true, Michael, draw out of a hat, a name, and you're paired up on a team? Or is it the caddies talking, saying, I want to be paired up with him?
No, I think what we have to do to make it fair for everybody is do a true draw on, hey, Trey, you're a plus handicap and I'm a 20. We're sorry, but you're stuck with me.
There's going to be some ribbon in the caddy shack that week.
Absolutely. That's going to be a good day to be hanging out in the caddy shack.
That's going to be awesome. So will that be something that the fans can come out and watch?
Yes. Yep. So we're, like I said, this is a very new concept for us. So we're in the process of building out a ticket package and what that looks like to come out and spend the day with us on Tuesday evening.
Speaking of tickets, obviously for those that didn't get to go last year, they're chomping at the bit. What can they do? When will tickets go on sale for this year?
Yeah, so tickets will go on sale this year here in early July. So stay tuned to our Simmons Bank Championship social media pages and our website. Subscribe to our email database, and as soon as those are coming out, we'll be sure to get it out in front of you.
And we'll make sure right here on From the Short Grass that we let listeners know as well when those tickets are available. It's my understanding that most of the VIP hospitality areas, specifically around 18 Green, are sold out. Those that did it last year are like, hey, I'm back in. 17 might have some openings, and then 16 as well.
Yeah, yep. So 18 is completely sold out. A lot of our partners have extended and entered into multi-year agreements, which is great. I think one thing that we're able to teach them is the value that these hospitality structures have, and business entertainment, employee engagement, all of the above, and how to utilize this as a tool. But you look at 17, the Parker Lexus Lounge, we have a limited number of tickets still available in there, and then our cabanas on 16. So there is still some hospitality available, and then our premier ticket up in the brand new Pleasant Valley Clubhouse, we have those available as well. If you're looking for a high-end experience with really the best views from any clubhouse on the PGA Tour Champions, I would say.
And I would say, too, some of the best food. Chef Jamie knows how to cook. Pleasant Valley able to get him away from Pine Bluff Country Club, and I know he's going to have his hands all over the menu.
Yeah, he's been fantastic in the last few months that he's been here, and I'll tell you, I haven't had a bad meal in there. I pray for my butt loops for sure.
What are some other key events that will be happening? Obviously, the week before is a big one because the field is set at 54 players the week before on PGA Tour Champions, and those 54 can make it to Little Rock. Now, not all of them might not come. They all might come. We just don't know, but it's the 54 best.
Correct. Yeah. So they play in Richmond, Virginia the week before us, and it's always fun to sit there late on Sunday and watch who's on the bubble, who's going to get in, who's not playing so great and not going to make it. That's exciting for us because it shows that these guys, they still want to compete, and when they get to Little Rock, it's best on best, and they're trying to make it into the finals. And the competition, the competitive juices that these guys still have to play and win is really incredible. But then you roll into Monday with our Women's Leadership Summit, and then Monday evening, right after that, we've got a junior clinic with the first tee and all kids in Central Arkansas all around. So We'll have some PGA Tour Champions players out there, fun things for kids to do, and really sit and hear it from the mouths of the greats of the game on, best ways to practice. Here's things to work on. That I remember going to those as a kid. Like it's cool. You want to listen to those guys.
Yeah, it really is cool. And for those of you that might have missed it, Tim O'Neill won in Richmond last year, and that's the only way he was able to get to Little Rock, and had him on from the short grass not too long ago, and he spoke highly about coming to Little Rock and playing here, and he hopes to be here again this year. Michael, volunteers. I mean, you need them, and everybody needs them. And I know last year about this time, you probably had more than you could shake a stick at. Is that the case right now?
Yeah. Yep. So we just launched our volunteers about a month ago, and we're getting close to filling up. And this event doesn't happen without the support of over 900 volunteers that are donating their time to come out and, make this event a success. And that's part of the reason that the tournament itself won the Players Award, is with how hospitable the volunteers are, how friendly they are to the players, not only when they're at the golf course, but if they bump into them around town, oh, hey, do you want a good place to go to dinner? Or is there anything that we can do to make your stay more enjoyable? Unfortunately, players don't get that at every stop. And I think that's one thing that we're very proud of here, is just how supportive the Little Rock community has been. But yeah, the volunteers they're the backbone of this event.
One thing you cannot control is the weather. And I know last year on Saturday there was a little bit of a delay, but that was the only day that was affected by it. Obviously, we'd like it to go smooth Monday all the way to Sunday, but I think everybody's going to have a good time.
Rain, snow, or shine, you're guaranteed to have a good time out here. I was chatting with Barry Brandt last week. I told him, we want to order up some good weather, so he put the request in for us. But the fall in Arkansas, you really can't beat it.
Yeah, it's nice. Best golf course you've ever played?
That's a tough one. This is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but Spyglass Hill. So,
okay.
Yep. Last fall I did Pebble, Spanish Bay, and Spyglass, and while Pebble has great views, I thought Spyglass was much better golf course.
Really? Okay. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I've played both of them, but yeah, I could see why you're going that route. Fantasy foursome, living or deceased, you and 3 others you'd like to play around the golf with. Who would they be?
I think you got to have Mr. Palmer, my grandfather for sure, because he got me into the game of golf. And then, I'm gonna go off of the golf track here, but I think it'd be pretty cool to play around with Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, he's on the golf track. You don't have to go
absolutely.
off of it. I mean, he's got his own golf course. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Michael, as always, good to see you. Thanks for your time, and looking forward to the end of October in the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens.
Trey, thank you. Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. We're just over 100 days to the event, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody out there, and we appreciate all that you do for us.
You bet.
From Central Arkansas to South Arkansas to Northeast Arkansas, across the state to Northwest Arkansas, you will find a Beechwood hospitality property. From the Haywood in El Dorado to the Hilton Garden in Jonesboro to the Doubletree in Bentonville and the Staybridge Suites just south of Baum-Walker Stadium, Beechwood Hospitality has a room for you. Beechwood Hospitality is the leader in hotel property management in the state. Make sure you find a Beechwood Hospitality hotel for your next overnight stay.
I'm Dr. Lowry Barnes. When it comes to orthopedic care, there's no place like the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health. We built this hospital just for you, with state-of-the-art surgical suites, advanced technology, and the state's largest group of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons. It's the best place in Arkansas to get you moving again. And if you need urgent orthopedic care, UAMS Ortho Now is right here for you at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health, where motion lives and service leads.
That's all the time for this edition of From the Short Grass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. Don't forget SimmonsBankChampionship.com. That is the website for the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens, coming to Pleasant Valley October 20th through the 26th. Remember, when you find your ball mark on the green, fix it and a couple of more. And I hope to see you sometime soon from the Short Grass.
You have been listening to From the Short Grass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine, a weekly podcast dedicated to the game of golf. This has been a presentation of the Buzz Radio Network in association with Majestic Cubby Productions.